सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. Punjabication, the prayer verses?
Yes, sir.
Badram Karne.
Om Badram Karne Vishudiyam Devaha Badram Pashyemakshaviryajatraha Sirairangai Suttubhagum Sassadobihi Veshema Devi Davyadayu Swastina Indro Vridrashravaha Swastina Pusha Vishwavedaha Swastina Srasho Arishtaremi Swastino Brihaspadirdadu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
So last time we saw the first 1.5 verses. Okay. How Om is all this? Okay. Any questions, clarifications on what we saw last time? Or is it all clear?
Swamiji?
Yeah. Sure.
I have a clarification regarding Drisha Viveka that you had mentioned first.
Yeah.
So, if I start with the fact that Atma is Satyam, and with that fact when I do Drisha Viveka, then nothing can be separate from me.
Yeah.
Is that a valid way of approaching?
That is valid. That's why when using Drisha Viveka, if you look at Swamiji, or if you look at the way I presented, always presented that I am aware of the body is different from me, I am independent of the body is dependent on me. In the presentation that the body is dependent on me, the Mithyatvam of the body becomes clear. It is not two separate realities. It is not. That's how Drisha Viveka is supposed to be used. But people use it directly, simply, which is fine when you are starting off. But then after that you have to dismiss that.
Correct. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Because otherwise you are ending up with a different reality of what about the world. Therefore even Drisha Viveka is starting from where you are. Because that's an experiential factor. In fact, all the way in terms of your experience of life and disciplines of knowledge, including physics, science, everything is based on Drisha Viveka. The very idea of an impartial observer itself is based on Drisha Viveka, isn't it? When science says there has to be an observer for an event, and it also adds that there is no event without an observer, and we use that argument, it still does not establish the dependency of the object on the observer. It only established to say that it is there, each observer has to be there, not more than that. Not more than that. Hope you clear about that. No? So that's an important point there.
Swamiji, all the Upanishads, they kind of do this, right? In the beginning, they give the full, complete vision.
Yeah.
And then unfolds, negating the duality.
Yeah.
So then, like Vivek Chudamani and everything, then they bring up the Mithatma.
It has to be brought up.
Yeah,
it has to be brought up. Yeah.
Because it starts from where we are. Like, so we are, no way we cannot.
See, that is how you unfold, you start from where you are. In a debate, you will start from the reality and work backwards. That's a different way of presenting Vedanta. Like how we saw it in those of you who attended the Vedanta Paribhasha. I'll repeat that in Vedanta Sara, which I will do after this. So there I'll come across. Yeah. When you're doing Shadlinga Vichara, there I'll highlight that part of it. Yeah. Only after this text. This text will take some time. Okay. Yeah. So any further questions or clarifications up to now? Because this is important. This Upanishad can be mind-blowing. Actually speaking, this Upanishad should be studied every day with the Karika. If you study it every day, it blows up your mind literally. It blows up your very idea of the functioning world as a real thing. Can leave you a bit moringless also, but that's a good part of it. But be careful, in the functioning world, when you are not full-timers, you need that mooring in the functioning world as well. So be careful about that. So, okay, so with that keeping...
What is Karika?
Huh?
What is Karika?
A Karika is a verse commentary on the Upanishad. It's called a Karika. A commentary in a verse form. Like a prose form would be called a Bhashya. If I am having a commentary on the Upanishad in a prose form, that will be called a Bhashya. But if it is in a verse form, it will be called the Karika. So Mandukya, 12 verses and more than 100 verses of Karika on it. Yeah. That way. You'll see, Karika will come soon. After another 3-4 verses, the Karika will start coming in between. Okay, of Omkaram Eva, everything is Omkaram. He said, we saw that Omkaram is a name for Brahman. All that elaborately we have seen last time. And then I am Atma Brahma, all that also we saw. Okay. I'm talking about Mandukya Karika, Rohil, not any other text. Yeah. Then he says, Soyam Atma Chatushpad. This Atma can be looked upon in a fourfold manner. Okay. I am not even saying it is divided into 4. Mark my words very clearly. It's looked upon in a fourfold manner. Okay. Because if I say 4 parts, etc., I am contradicting myself. Okay. Yeah. Then fourfold manner. Okay. All right. What is the 4th part? Okay. Simple. He says, Jagrita Sthanaha. The 3rd verse. Jagrita Sthanaha. One who abides in the waking state. Bahish Prajnaha. Characterized by what? Awareness turned outside. Awareness focused outside. Bahish Prajnaha. Saptangaha. Okay. What is Saptanga? Made of Akasha, Vayu, Agna, Apa, Prithvi and the sun and the moon. Okay. Saptangaha. We are talking about the totality also. So the totality is also included in Saptangaha. Eko Minchati Mukha. Made up of 19 parts. 19 parts, what is that? Pancha Prana, Panchendriya, Pancha Jnanendriya, Mano Buddhi Chitta Ahankara. 19 हो गया? Okay. 5 pranas, 5 organs of action, 5 sense organs, and Chitta memory, Manaha your mind, Buddhi your reasoning, Ahankara the sense of I. 19. Okay. 19 aspects to Vishwanaraha, Vishwaha, the waker. Okay. Stula book. One who's capable of enjoying, experiencing gross objects. Table, book, chair, etc. Gross objects. Okay. And called Vaishwarnaraha. This is Prathama Padaha. This is the first quarter. You in your waking state. Doesn't require too much of explanation. As you are now, right now, you are awake to the physical world. Hopefully, nobody is that tired at the end of the day to be catching a nap in the class. So, this waking self, where all your pranas are functioning, your sense organs are functioning, your organs of action are functioning, or capable of functioning, even if not functioning now, and your reasoning, buddhi, manas, emotions, etc., chittam, memory, etc., ahankara, the sense of I, all this is there. The complete person here. This is me, this is I, correct? Okay, all right. So this is simple. Let's go ahead. Then we will do an analysis on all three together. Then what is the second padaha? He says Swapnasthanaha. The one whose sthana, the place who abides in your dream state. Antaprajnaha. The focus of your awareness is inside. Only your thoughts. No more aware of the external world. Antaprajnaha. Again, Saptangaha, Akasha, Vayu, Agni, all that is applicable here also. Eko Minshati Mukhaha. 5 pranas, 5 organs of action, all that thing is applicable here also. Pravivikta Bhok. Okay. And who enjoys what? Subtle objects. Doesn't enjoy gross objects. Only enjoy objects that is projected by your mind, called Taijasaha. Now look at it. Prana, sense organs, organs of action is put in both state. In the waking state, you are using all of them. All of them is there. In the dream state also, you are using all of them. Remember, in Vedanta, the way we look at it, all your sense organs and organs of action are in your subtle body. What do you call the whole mind equipment? What you see outside is only called the external golakas, the external counterpart. This in science, etc., will be known as your kinesthetic body. That's why they will say, if you have lost a limb or something, do the artificial limb as soon as possible. As soon as the wound has healed, even not fully healed, attach that. Why? Your mind is still up to here. It has not yet withdrawn, because all these years it has been up to here. That's why you have the phantom limb phenomena. Many amputees whom I have seen, they said, my hand is scratching, the hand is not there. The hand has been cut off. But they say this is itching. And I always tell them, scratch there. And they get relief. It's the mind playing a trick on it. Because the hand extends, your kinesthetic body is extended. So if an artificial limb is fitted, it functions better. And those of us who are into energy work, we know how to extend our prana, our energy, into an instrument that we are holding. And usually a weapon. Okay. How the prana extend up to that. So that the weapon and you, the instrument and you, function as one. That's a level of energy work, etc., that is done. That's a different thing. So, therefore, you will find that all this is in the subtle body. The physical body is only an extension, and what you call golakas. organs of action, etc., are called golakas, the physical counterpart to help the internal organs to function in an external world. So it becomes like a counter of experience. It's a counter. Like when you go to a bank, there's a counter where the teller, and you function along that counter. So the physical body is a counter for you to function in the outside world. Just a counter for experience. Okay. Therefore, this is called Tejasa, the dreamer. So now, in the Vaishvanar or the Vishwa, the consciousness is manifest right up to the external world. Tejasa, the consciousness only identified with the internal world, subtle world, your subtle body. Identification I'm talking about, okay? Then, go to the third part here. Yatra suptaha na kanchanam kamam kamyate na kanchanam swapnam pashyati tat sushuptam. Yatra suptaha, where the one who has gone to sleep, therefore not the waker, because he is already gone to sleep. But na kanchanam kamam kamyate, does not have any desire, which in dream you have. Dream, you have dream desires. Okay, yeah. Na kanchanam swapnam pashyati, he does not see any dream. Tat sushuptam. Whether he is covered with a blanket or not, he is covered with a blanket of ignorance. Totally ignorant. Okay. Sushupta sthanaha. Therefore, his area of functioning is what? Deep sleep state. Eki bhutaha. Everything has become one. Where are you aware of your sense organs, your organs of action? Kachu nahi hai. None of them you are aware of. Okay, yeah. Okay. Eki bhutaha. Prajnana ghanaha. Prajnana ghanaha. Nothing but a mass of consciousness. You are conscious, all right, but you are not conscious of this or that or anything. Just one mass, prajnana ghana. Eva anandamayaha. The kosha you are functioning in. Anandamayaha. Why? Sleep is an happy experience. Who does not enjoy sleep? Why do you think in your phone there is a snooze button? अरे 10 मिनट और सो जाएगा यार, अच्छा है. I'll brush my teeth and have a shower together. Then I'll save 5 minutes. Sleep that extra. There's always an anticipation in going to sleep and a reluctance in coming out of it. It doesn't really matter how high your pillow is, how much light is there, etc. Once you're asleep, you don't know any of these things. But you keep all that perfectly. Why? You don't want anything to disturb it, anything to interrupt it, anything to prevent it from falling asleep. So all that preparation shows it's a happy event that you're going into. And the reluctance to come out. There's always a gap between waking up and getting up. You wake up first and then you get up. Aram se. Even if you have a full day packed lined up. So, arey, only 7 o'clock. 5 more minutes. Therefore, Anandamayaha, Ananda book. What you are enjoying, what you are experiencing there, only Ananda. Okay. Chetomukaha. Chetomukaha. It is the gateway, opening for being conscious of other things later on. Now your potential condition. Okay? Your awarefulness of day-to-day things is in a potential condition. Okay? Prajnaha, it gains a name. Prajnaha. Not Prajnaha. Prajnaha. Okay? Prajnaha. It's a long pra. Prayena ajnaha iti. He is almost ignorant. Why almost? He is ignorant, no? No. He knows I am ignorant. I don't know anything. Because when you get up, what did you say? Arey, I slept like a log here. I did not know a thing. Arey, it rained last night. Huh, kya? I did not know. There was thunder and lightning. I did not know. I slept like a log. But I know I slept. Anyone doubts that statement? I know I slept. It's important to resolve this right here. Is sleep your direct experience, or the state of sleep is inferred by you? Direct experience, isn't it? Do you infer getting up in the morning from this time to this time, I did not know anything, therefore I must have been asleep? Does anyone infer like that? Nobody infers like that. Because for inference you need data. What is your data? From this time to this time I did not know anything. That this time to this time I did not know anything itself is a direct experience of sleep. What you call data itself is the experience. Therefore it's directly known to you. Okay? Directly known to you. Therefore that much you know. Therefore called prajnaha. Almost totally ignorant. Okay? Prajnaha. This is tritiya padaha, the fourth aspect. Now look at it. Up to now we have been talking from the individual standpoint. Predominantly. Though in the first verse, in the third verse rather, he introduced the term Vaishwanaraha with the sun and the moon as his eyes. He just slipped it in. Vaishwanaraha, sun and the moon. That means what? Totality. At the physical level, totality is what? The Virat Rupa. Consciousness manifests in the total creation. Therefore, in the next verse he says about the prajnaha, from the totality level, Esha Sarveshaha, Esha Sarvajnaha, Esha Antaryami, Esha Yonihi Sarvasya, Prabhavapyayau hi Bhutanam. Now look at it from the total level. Okay. Before I go into the total level, let us look at the physical, this thing, from the total level. Then the subtle and this. The physical, Vaker, from the total level will become what? Vaker, individual level, you are identified with this body, with this prana, etc. Right? Total level will be what? Identified with the whole universe, the whole cosmic energy, the total mind. Correct or not? Dreamer, individual level, identified with this mind, not aware of the outside. Total level, identified with the total mind, the cosmic mind, all knowledge. Now, the individual in deep sleep, identified with your ignorance, avidya. Total level, with total Maya Shakti. Now, when you are identified with the total Maya Shakti, can you be called almost ignorant? That's why he says, Esha Sarvajnaha, Esha Sarveshwaraha. This is Ishvara. When you're talking about identifying with the total ignorance, it becomes Maya Shakti. And Maya Shakti is not ignorance alone, it has all knowledge in it as well. What is Maya made up of? Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. So what is Sattva? All knowledge. What is Rajas? All activity. What is Tamas? Every inert thing that is there in the world. Inert matter for creation. Therefore what? Consciousness identified with the total will be Sarveshwaraha. Sarvajnaha, all knowing. Whereas individual level, Prajnaha, almost ignorant. I don't know anything. Other than the fact I am sleeping, I slept. Okay? Sarvajnaha, Esha Antaryami. This is Antaryami. Why? In every mind, the consciousness is present. No? If consciousness is identified with the totality and the individual, in every individual is present. Therefore, Antaryami, that which manifests inside everyone. Eshaha Yoni Sarvasya. This is the source for everything. Eshaha Yoni Sarvasya. Prabhavapyayo hi bhutanam. This is the starting point and the resolving point for all creation. Totality. Totality, isn't it? What is the source of all creation? Ishvara and Maya. What is the resolving point? Ishvara and Maya. In fact, I don't have to say Ishvara and Maya. Okay. The source of everything is that. Therefore, Prabhavapyayo bhutanam. What are you talking about here? The consciousness. Remember that. He said, I am Atma Brahman. No? Remember? Explanation, I am Atma Brahman. Are you seeing that? This is Sanskrit, I am Atma Brahman. Okay? Not English, I am Atma Brahman. Okay, yeah. I am Atma. This Atma that we are talking about is Brahman. So now where is this? Now tell me, your physical body is included into the physical creation? Your mind into the cosmic mind? Your ignorance into the total Maya Shakti? Where are you? Kidhar hai? Where are you? I am there, huh? I am there where? Which I you are talking about? I am conscious. Only one consciousness. Then you can say I and you or I and Ishvara. ऐसा बोल सकते हैं. In this, because of our identification of the limited, we create an island of ahankara, an island of isolation, an island of finitude. Vishu just passed, no? Vishu is, in Kerala we say Mahabali is coming to visit. Okay. It is actually not a story in Kerala, okay? Malayalis have adopted that. Because Vamana Avatara was before Parashurama Avatara. Kerala came into being only with Parashurama Avatara. Parashurama is supposed to have reclaimed Kerala. So how can Keralites claim Mahabali as their own? Hota hai, because the hilly regions were there. So I will give them that grace. Mallus ko, okay? Hilly regions were there, the plains were not, the hilly regions were there. And that place in Karnataka, where you go to do all the karmas and everything. What is that place called? The place from where Parashurama was supposed to have thrown the axe. There, the tip of my tongue is not coming out. It will come. So it seems Vamana came to Mahabali, great king. Gokarna, that's right. Gokarna is the place. Usha found that out. Yes, Gokarna. Gokarna is in Karnataka, and from Gokarna, Parashurama was supposed to have hurled his axe. And the coastal plains of Kerala rose from the sea. That's the story goes. Anyway. So he came as Vamana, disguised as a Vatu, as a young brahmachari, a tiny character. Says, what do you want? Shukracharya that time says, don't believe in this guy. He's come to cheat you. But Bali, in his bigness, okay, bigness in a nice way can also be expressed as very generous. Your sense of ahankara, bigness, but expressed in a nice way is generosity. Hey, I'm big enough to give. That is why that bhajan is there. Vikari sari dunya, data ek ram. All world is full of beggars only. The giver is only the Lord. Okay. That's why the attitude. When a sadhu goes for bhiksha, the giver is Narayana, the receiver is Narayana. That's it. That's the attitude. So you can beg without feeling beggarly, you can give without feeling arrogant. So anyway, the Vatu comes, Vamana Avatara. So Bali asks, what do you want? 3 paces of land. That's all, 3 paces of land. It will barely be 4 feet. The guy is so tiny. Even for us who are 5.5 feet, 1 pace will be about 18 inches. So 3 paces of land given. When he says yes, he becomes Trivikrama, huge. Under no court of law this will be valid, okay? 3 paces of land was asked by the Vamana with his leg. Now it has become Trivikrama's leg. But Bali, the giver, he says, take it. So heavens, earth covered by 1 step, heavens covered by the other step. Where will I put my 3rd step? So Bali offers his head. That's symbolic. Why? Your head is part of the earth, no? Is it separate from the earth? Your head is floating somewhere out. Part of the earth. But he was an island of ahankara. He was an island of ahankara. He offers that ahankara to the Lord. That's the surrender. That is actual surrender. After having given up everything, give up that by which you give everything up. After having given up everything, as sannyasi said this. When you take sannyasa, after having given up everything, give up that by which you have given up everything. Your ahankara. That can go only in knowledge, nothing else. That's why immediately when the sannyasa diksha is given, you're shivering in the cold on the Ganges banks. You just had a cold drip in the Ganga and you change your clothes, you're just wearing an angavastram and a dhoti, and in that winter you're standing there. The Guru has to give you Upadesha. Brief, he has to give it to you. Because that ahankara can go only with knowledge. So, this sense of isolation, because where are you? You don't exist. Yeah. Your mind is part of cosmic mind. Where are you separate? Body is part of the whole universe. Body is part of the universe, physical universe. Mind, part of the cosmic mind. your vidya, etc., into total Maya Shakti where all knowledge exists. Where are you? Not there. As a separate entity, not there. Antaryami, Esha Sarvesha Sarvajnaha, Antaryami. I, because I consciousness, Ishvara. Therefore, I am Atma, Brahma. That is it. You are that Brahman itself. You don't stand separate. You can never stand separate. Except out of self-ignorance, you create an island, a notional island of separateness. Your separateness is notional. Why are we so bothered about global warming, global warming, global warming? Because we know if the temperature goes up by say 5-6 degrees, human beings will find it very difficult to exist on Earth. Yeah. Global warming also solves problems. There is a small island equidistant between Bangladesh and India. Small little island, tiny. Bangladesh and India were both claiming it. 4 years both staked this claim. But Bangladesh had a very friendly government to India, therefore it was sort of put on. Then they said, let us survey the place and see what. Went to survey, they found that land is missing. Why? Global warming. Seas have come up enough to completely swallow that land. I'm not joking. So it's a small little island. It's useful only for a base or something like that, not for anything else. It would have been used as a military base. But both Bangladesh and India at those times were very friendly. So, global warming. That means what? You are never separate at any time. Physical level, mind level, ignorance level. There is no separateness. So, separateness is created out of this ignorance. Notional. Because you are limited yourself. I am this much only. I am like this only. Typical Indian English. I am this much only. I am like this only. They are typical Indian English. Please do the needful. Why should I do the needless anyway? We use these expressions formally also, isn't it? I trust you will do the needful. I don't trust you to do needless things anyway. Yeah?
I have a question regarding the sleeping stage.
Regarding the?
Sleeping stage.
Yeah.
So in the sleeping state, there's only awareness.
Yeah. Awareness and ignorance. In sleep, there is awareness and ignorance of it.
There is awareness.
Ignorance because you don't know anything. That's your experience. That's why you go to sleep, you don't come back as a wise person. The ignorance is there. That's what happens in meditation also. You go into meditation, say, it was so blissful. You come out, what happens? I'm the same idiot. If without any exposure to Vedanta or proper learning, without the unfoldment, if I go into meditation, same thing will happen. Samadhi experience is similar.
But in both sleep and as well as in meditation, you are the witnesser.
See, that is why. Look at this way. In the waking state, there is self-ignorance and awareness of the outside world. Awareness, I am there. Self-ignorance is there. But awareness of the outside world is there. In dream sleep, self-ignorance is there, ignorance of the outside world is there, but awareness of the inside world is there. In deep sleep state, there is self-ignorance and ignorance of both the outside world and inside world. Only ignorance. Awareness plus ignorance. This is our common experience. So what is he trying to do there? He is trying to make explicit what is implicit in your experience. It's only that consciousness is everything is unfolding. Everything other thing is what is already there in your experience. That in deep sleep I don't know anything. Yeah, correct, I don't know anything. Yeah. When you are asleep, you don't know. But Swamiji, in my sleep state now, there are a lot of times I wake up. My tap tells me that. My smartwatch tells me that. So I am saying when you are asleep, you are ignorant. See, in between, if you get up, what can I do about that? Don't get up. Or get up, whatever you are comfortable with. What can I do if you keep getting up in between? What makes you get up? I don't know, I just get up. That means you are not yet to learn to relax, to go into deep sleep. To learn to let go of things enough. Or you are martial art trained so that any noise, anything unusual, you will wake up. Because you are trained into that level of awareness. Either of the two things. But when you are asleep, you don't know anything. That's why you can't catch the point you go to sleep or the point you wake up, isn't it? Can you catch the point you dropped off to sleep and the point you got up? You'll never catch it. You can try it as an exercise if you want. It'll make you very awareful, but the problem is sleep will be disturbed. You can try it as an exercise. It'll show you how to sleep lightly. It's good for commandos, etc. To be able to sleep light so that this thing they can get up and be fully awareful. It's good for them. If you're a commando and in Kashmir, this is very good, especially now in this condition. Very good to be that. Simple. Try to catch this point. One of the simplest exercises is that. Try to catch the point of sleeping when you fall asleep and the point you get up. Your sleep will be thoroughly finished for the next few months, okay? So, be ready to try it only if you're ready to have a very, very disturbed sleep. Yeah, samadhi is like deep sleep. Samadhi is like deep sleep if it is under samadhi. When you don't know the truth and you're going into samadhi, it's exactly like deep sleep. If you know the truth, it's different. But if you don't know the truth, it is the same. Similar. Not exactly the same, but similar. Sarveshwara Sarvajnaha Antaryami Esha Yoni Sarvasya Prabhavapyavau Hi Bhutanam. Okay. Up to now clear? That means even at these 3-4 verses, what has happened? You as a finite entity does not exist. You are the limitless consciousness. Finished. We cannot catch what was the last line, Rohit? Falling asleep and waking up, similarly, we cannot catch?
The point of gaining knowledge, Atma Jnana.
Atma Jnanam? No, you can't. You can. As a flash, you will understand. Hey, it's clear.
But then that flash again, can you ascribe a date and time to it?
No, it's a flash of recognition. It will be there.
Yeah.
Two ways. Atma Jnanam can happen in two ways. Either there will be a flash of an inside recognition. That is true. That you can catch. Or it's a slow process of greater and greater clarity happening. So both ways. It can happen both ways. Even if you get a flash, it will be most generally an insight into the truth. So once you get that insight, you still have to work on the clarity of it afterwards. That's why that Shravanam, Mananam, etc. is necessary. Otherwise, all that would not be necessary. Of course, Uttamadhikari excuse from all that. Okay. But as I always say, Uttamadhikari is found only in the pages of the Upanishads. Okay. Outside the Upanishads, I have yet to see one. Yeah. I know I wasn't. Okay. None of my batchmates were. None of my juniors were. My Guru's generation, nobody was there. My Grand Guru's generation also, nobody was there, by their own admission. We all needed that reputation like that. That's why for people like Nachiketa, Shvetiketu, Arjuna, etc., I have a great respect, because even as students they were so fully prepared. Fully prepared. That one teaching was enough for them. You have to respect that. And that's one thing I find people don't have. They don't have enough respect for Arjuna the student. Whereas if you read his life, you will know what he was. If any of us had 10% of his preparedness, by now we would have been wise people. Just 10% of his wisdom, we would have been wise. I mean, of his preparedness, we would have been wise by that time. But we are not. His focus, his mastery of the mind. Just because questions are asked in the Gita, how do you control the mind, etc. This mind is difficult. Those are all elaborations by Vyasa for the sake of the common man. You think Arjuna is going to ask questions about meditation or what? A Vajramushti warrior is a far greater meditator than many of our sadhakas. I'm telling you, I'm not joking. If anyone thinks he's a good meditator, just do one thing for me. Okay? Think, no, I can sit for 1 hour in meditation without problems. If anybody can say that here, okay? Just imagine you're sitting on a horse. How will you sit on a horse? With wide stance and knees bent, thighs almost parallel to the floor, isn't it? Hold that position for 20 minutes and come back and tell me whether you can hold it for 20 minutes. And then tell me what happens to your mind when you're trying to do that. Then tell me you're a good meditator. Even in today's world, Shaolin warriors do it for 2 hours. We all have gone through that training. We know how difficult it is. So, that respect. But with all that, you may be a great meditator, you may be this thing. And Uttamadhikari will get it in one listening. We will require more frequent. We will require Mananam, Nididhyasana, everything. But it's okay. Do all that, gain the truth, gain the knowledge. That's all that matters. Okay? That getting the knowledge is what matters. Doesn't matter how long you took or what you had to do to get it. Get it, that's fine. So once you get that, then fine. Then after this, okay, the Karikas come in, because about 6 verses have gone. So after the 6 verses of the Upanishad, Gaudapadas, Karika comes in to explain some of these in greater detail. Yeah? Greater detail. So another half a dozen verses or more. Yeah. 9 verses are Gaudapadas, Karikas, throwing more light on Vishwa Tejasa, etc. Okay. But that we will go into in the next class. Next class will be not on next Friday. Next Friday is 2nd. 2nd is Shankara Jayanti. Okay, without Shankara we wouldn't understand half the Vedanta that we know. Okay, we wouldn't understand anything of Vedanta if Shankara was not there. Therefore, I already put it up on the groups, etc. What we are doing on Shankara Jayanti. So we'll have the Shankara Jayanti celebrations on 2nd. Some of us are talking on various aspects. Will be there. If any of you want Swami or me to talk on a particular aspect, let me know. Okay. Otherwise, we'll pick up whatever it is and talk.
Online, offline. So online.
Online. Well, anyone wants to come here, you're welcome to come here to my place. Okay, yeah. My place is open house, so you can welcome to come in. That'll be 7 to 9. So next Friday will be that session. Okay, on Shankara Jayanti. And we will meet on 9th after that for the Mandukya Karika. It's a good place to stop. Om Tat Sat.